Good evening, everybody, and welcome. We've met in exec session and we've done the flag salute, so I'm just going to read the statement of public notice. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Education of Berners Township. Notice of the time and place of this meeting was provided, and copies of that resolution were forwarded to the official newspapers as designated by the Board of Education and to the Township Clerk, and a copy of notice was posted on the bulletin board of the Board of Education offices. For those members of the public who cannot attend our meeting in person, a live stream link to the meeting is posted on the district website. We very much welcome input from the public. There are 2 times during regular meetings that the public is invited to speak. One time is early in the meeting before the board votes, when you may speak about any item that's listed on tonight's agenda. Towards the end of the meeting, there's another public forum to address any matter of public concern related to the schools. When you approach the microphone, please state your name and address, and each statement made by participant shall be limited to 3 minutes duration. No participant may speak more than once during a given public comment session. The first public comment session will be limited to 30 minutes and the second will be unlimited. In order to run efficient meetings and to allow maximum opportunity for members of the public to speak, the board reserves the right to set a different time limit for individual comments and the overall time limit for the public comment portions of the agenda. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No participant may address or question board members individually. Please understand that the public comments portion of our agendas are not structured as question and answer sessions, but are offered as opportunities to share your thoughts with the board. The board and administration will respond to public comments to the extent possible. Any board responses to public comments will generally be addressed during board forum or committee reports. However, all comments are considered and will be investigated and addressed as appropriate. Please be courteous and mindful of the rights of others when speaking. Comments may not be abusive, obscene, threatening, and irrelevant. Please understand that students and employees have specific legal privacy protections. The board is not permitted to respond in public to comments about students and employees. And please understand that the board will not be responsible for the content of comments made by the members of the public. Members of the public are cautioned that they are speaking at their own risk, and any personally directed statements they make may subject them to legal liability to the affected individual. If it's necessary for the board to go into the exec session at the end of the meeting, we'll provide an estimated length of time for the session and whether any action is anticipated to be taken upon returning to the public session. And with that, we are up to one of my most favorite times of the year is when Ridge a cappella comes and performs for us. So we're all going to come down and sit down, and then we'll come back up after.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Beadle, and I'm the choir director here at Ridge High School. This is Ridge a cappella choir, which is our top ensemble here at Ridge. We've been caroling all over the community over the past few weeks. We had our concert this past Wednesday on December 17th, and this piece was a fan favorite, so we decided to bring it back. It's a Bollywood piece, and it had a dole drum player at the concert, and there's some choreography that was created by 2 of our students that are in this ensemble. There's a soloist, Kirtu, that you'll hear in the middle of this. We had 4 rows of risers, so we've adjusted our choreography a little bit, but I think you'll still get the idea. So we hope you enjoy Nagada Sang Dole. final piece is going to be the pentatonics arrangement of O Come All Ye Faithful with Sean Pernicelli as our soloist. Happy holidays, and thank you so much for having us.
O come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. O come ye to Bethlehem. O come and behold him, born the King of angels. O come, let us adore. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Oh, come to Bethlehem. To Bethlehem.
Started little in third grade chorus, and they're all the way up here now doing amazing things, and we're so very grateful. So we wish you happy holidays, and we'll see you in 2026.
Well, that definitely was the high point of our meeting. We do have business to do, but nothing will top that. So thank you for the beautiful songs. As a past a cappella parent, I know how much time these kids put into practicing, and they don't ever let us down with how beautiful they sound. We are now up to our student representative. MJ, do you have a report?
Yes, I do, and I also just want to add that the chorus was absolutely beautiful, and we're just so proud to support the arts in this district and to have a really, really successful arts program. So today I hope to just update the public as well as the Board of Education on recent news about the student body. First, we held our first school-wide Board of Education meeting with our student representatives, and this is just to inform the public of what student representatives do in really representing how student life is at Ridge. We broached suggestions and questions about various topics, from implementing district-wide holidays, as well as cafeteria food, and we have some matters regarding like academic programs the students would like the districts to subscribe to, which we will talk to the board at a later date. The board also asked us a lot of questions about student life, and it was a really mutually informative session on both establishing the life of students at Ridge as well as getting to hear the board's responses to some of the questions we had. Second, in terms of the school-wide student government, we recently took action based on comments from our MP1, Marking Period 1, Ridge reports, as well as comments from other student representatives. For instance, we met with Mr. Robert, who is the director of our new Michio's Food Services. We broached student suggestions regarding additions like protein shakes, healthy energy boosters, a greater variety of vegetarian options, and more ethnic variety in our meal options across all 6 schools in our district. He was incredibly receptive to all of our suggestions, and we are looking forward to checking up on arranging additional meetings. Additionally, there are other directors that we plan to reach out to. Although immediately reaching out would be great, we determined that post-winter break is most effective in implementing these changes. There have been some input from students regarding facilities, safety, and security, in addition to suggestions to the tech department. Lastly, but certainly not least, here are some more details about school events and updates of student life. Our arts department concluded a successful concert season. As we saw, we had chorale, but we also had orchestra as well as band concerts. Additionally, our Ridge Dance is hosting a winter coat drive to help those in need amidst the cold winter season. Our unified basketball team is now selling apparel to fundraise for this sport, as well as having an overall successful record in the season. In addition, our sports teams have had an incredibly successful season. In track and field, we placed top 6th in the New Jersey Meet of Champions. We also had 4 school records in the 4x200 relay, and a girls track player recently ranked 10th in the United States for the 400 meter. Our Ridge Drama Club also successfully executed its first play of the season, Peter Pan and Wendy, and are working on Mary Poppins for the spring season. Additionally, tomorrow is our annual school-wide volleyball tournament. This event is hosted by the school-wide student government and consists of teams of juniors and seniors involved in volleyball playoffs. It gives us a great opportunity at uniting as a school before winter break. As we approach the end of the year, I am incredibly excited to see what amazing things the student body will accomplish. Thank you for listening to the update.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for MJ? Okay. You're welcome to stay. I can't imagine you have too much work, though, for tomorrow, but have a wonderful holiday. And we are now up to our superintendent's report, and there are 4 items. Do you want to say anything about them?
Sure, thank you. We have a couple of overnight trips. Whenever we have students traveling overnight, we need board approval. The annual trip for the Ridge High competition, cheerleading, and the overnight trip for the Model UN. These are typical annual trips. We have several new extracurricular clubs. We always approve those at their inception so that we have a record of when they began. And finally, the HIB report for this month.
Does anybody have questions? Can I get a motion? Brett and Janice, and a roll call.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Dr. McCune?
Yes.
Mr. Molinari?
Yes.
Mr. Amin?
Yes.
Ms. Mohan?
Yes.
Ms. Corrado?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
And Mr. O'Malonic?
Yes.
Okay, we're up to public comment on agenda items. If anybody has anything, please come down, sign the clipboard, and state your name and address. Okay, with that, we will close public comment. And we are up to the approval of minutes. Can I get Dave and Keith? Roll call.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Dr. McCune?
Yes.
Mr. Molinari?
Yes.
Mr. Amin?
Yes.
Ms. Mohan?
Yes.
Ms. Corrado?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
And Mr. O'Malonic?
Yes.
Okay, we are up to finance, and there is a report. Do you want to read the report out?
Sure, I'll go through the report. The report's from November 19th. The first item on there is the committee continues to review monthly medical claims. The trend remains slightly high, but after factoring in rebates, is still within a reasonable range of the budget. Based on a request from the committee members, Jim conducted an analysis of the historical claims to review seasonality because the budget is spread evenly, but the claims come up and down. So while some months appear higher or lower, there's no consistent trend there. The committee also discussed potential state plan changes. Although the district is not part of the state plan, changes often trickle into our plan. Proposed changes include adding in-network deductibles and increasing out-of-network deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums. Next, the committee discussed BMI student accident insurance, which primarily supports student athletes but applies to any school-approved events. It serves as a secondary insurance after personal coverage. Although not legally required, the district currently carries it. Given the $73,000 annual cost, the committee will reach out to the broker to review alternate options. Next, the Liberty Corner PTO is requesting approval to fundraise for improvements to the library, Quest Classroom furniture, with a goal of raising approximately $30,000. The committee recommends approval of this request. Next item, parent paid preschool rates for the general education students in the preschool will be $400 for 26-27. This only impacts a handful of families. The committee agrees with this increase. Next, the committee reviewed Maschio's September sales compared to Aramark. While it's very early, sales appear pretty comparable, and we're going to continue to monitor this. The last item, is this still confidential, Jim? Yeah, okay, thank you. So that's it for...
Does anyone have any questions for Dave? Okay, can I get a motion? Brett, Janice, and a roll call.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Dr. McCune?
Yes.
Mr. Molinari?
Yes.
Mr. Amin?
Yes.
Ms. Mohan?
Yes.
Ms. Corrado?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
And Mr. O'Malonic?
Yes.
Okay, we're up to personnel. Do you anything you can share from the report?
Sure, I can share out about one item. Dr. Lazovic came to the meeting to give an update on the status of clubs at Ridge. Just for anyone who's interested, there's a list of all clubs on the Ridge website. Students can come forward for new clubs, but must demonstrate that the club will fulfill a need and that will be different from existing clubs. The students must also find a teacher who's willing to be the advisor. Clubs must be active for 4 years before the advisor can receive a stipend. So one of the reasons that he was coming to the meeting was at one point the list had like 215 clubs on it, some of which were not still active. So we had asked to know like exactly how many are, as you can see tonight we appointed some new clubs to start. So it seems like there's always students with wonderful ideas to start new clubs. And we said, how many are there actually? So right now the administration has weeded out the clubs that were inactive. over the last bunch of years, and the list is around 140 clubs. And then he had explained that each club advisor submits a quarterly report with data about the meetings, attendance, and activities, and that he meets twice a year with every club that has a budget or stipend for a staff member. Clubs can meet at opportunity periods at lunch, but they can also meet after school or before school.
Thank you. Any questions?
What's the threshold to establish a club? How much student interest does there have to be?
At least 10 kids. There are 21 items. Can I get a motion? Smriti and Dave. And a roll call.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Dr. McCune?
Yes.
Mr. Molinari?
Yes.
Mr. Amin?
Yes.
Ms. Mohan?
Yes.
Ms. Corrado?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
And Mr. Omalanik?
Yes.
Okay. We're up to policy there. We don't have a report, but we do have one item.
Yeah, we just made a few revisions to the substance abuse policy. Updated language that if a student needs to be sent out for drug testing, the drug results will be sent to the nurse as well as the principal and superintendent. The district, we do have a testing center set up through CityMD that the district will pay for, but it must be made within 4 hours. And we just changed the wording from school physician to designee. And for the guidelines for the use of the sound system, we talked about it and the lighting. You know, it's an important note that we're trying to be very good neighbors to the people nearby. But a very important distinction is, in no way are there going to be guidelines intended to restrict the appropriate use of lighting and sound system for BTSD sponsored activities. These are general guidelines and cannot account for every possible scenario of official BTSD sponsored activities. So we realize that, you know, we can't have an exact wording. There's things that are going to come up depending on the situations. And we'll be meeting again in January.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that too, the policy that we reviewed on the substance abuse, we're working with Matt's firm on some of those language questions because there's a lot of administrative statute and code as it relates to things like district physician, and can you adjust the language to reflect the fact that you're not necessarily always going to a district physician for the drug screen. You might be going to the local MedEmerge or wherever we're contracted with at the time. So there's some nuances there, and that's why we don't have any first reading on those yet. So we'll get through that policy review with Matt's firm, and then we'll bring those back for first reading in the future.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Can I get do you have a question?
Yeah, just I was looking for it today. I was looking through the proposed policy, and I thought I saw this in the past, but maybe you took the language out. There was language regarding student use of the PA system, that it was only to be used by staff. Or I might have misread that, but my only thought was I've seen plenty of sporting events where under staff supervision, students have used the PA system to help announce events and call games. I always thought it was a really good and fun way to involve students who weren't necessarily on the field in the activity under proper supervision. So I didn't see it when I went about to look at it, but I could have sworn I saw it the first time. So maybe it was removed, but I don't know if that was something that you were discussing.
Yeah, so that's great that you brought that up. That's exactly why we're not in a rush to get this through, to give people lots of time to reflect on it, because those kinds of things happen, right? Where you've got kids involved, or you might have a parent booster club person that likes to read the announcements. They're trained, they work with the coach for particular use. So it's in general, we certainly don't want to have unsupervised use going on, right? So the idea of having kids running the sound system all by themselves with no adults on campus means somebody gave them the keys to the kingdom, and then we're having problems with the neighbors because it's really loud and it's unsupervised. So we're trying to come up with the right language that provides for all these different uses, but at the same time doesn't let situations get out of control where someone is getting access and turning things on, and they shouldn't be even using it at all at the time. So we're going back and forth, and we'll take a look at that again. Thanks.
We're really working on the wording, and we have to be very careful, because I think that's a great opportunity in some cases if students are at an athletic event and allowed to speak and things like that. But we're really working on how we're going to word this to make sure that kids, it's appropriate done.
Yeah, I'm glad we're working on balancing being good neighbors with giving students the appropriate opportunity to be involved.
Right.
Right. Anybody else? Okay, can I get Nothing?
We have a voting item tonight, right?
Yeah.
On policy. 20,
This, right.
2535, is that right? Or am I wrong? Okay, just for my own clarity on that, that was pursuant to our library policy, and basically the change is kind of in accordance with the new New Jersey state law, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's taking the ultimate arbitration. You were the last stop before, Nick, and now it's, if it came that far, a book to be adjudicated would come before the board after working its way up through the appropriate channels. I mean, that's kind of how I read it, and it's just kind of solidifying what we already had in a slightly different way in response to the new state law. Is that a pretty accurate, high-level summary?
I think the main thing is to separate the resource materials from the library materials and specify exactly how we're going to vet challenges to resource materials versus challenges to something that's actually in the library. So because of the law that was passed in the state, they said, you know what, the best way to handle this is to separate these out, create a new policy that's specific for library materials, and that kind of defines who can challenge library materials and how they should be challenged, versus materials that are used in the classroom, an article used in a classroom, to try to make a clean distinction between things that are actually in your library media centers versus in your classrooms.
Right, this policy is not applicable to things in the classroom using instruction.
Exactly.
And just for the public, anything in the library, it's all on the Destiny system. It's all out there. It's all applicable to district parents, not to necessarily the public at large.
It's actually public to anybody. If you go to the school website, there is a searchable database for each building through the media center site.
I thought you needed a login and a...
Not for that site. Students have a login, which would take you to their account, and the parents really don't have an actual direct login to their student's account unless they have their student's login right now. Although it's possible in the future we might be able to add a parent login. Right now it's just a searchable database of whatever's in that library.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, can I get a motion? Robin, Keith. And a roll call.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Dr. McCune?
Yes.
Mr. Molinari?
Yes.
Mr. Amin?
Yes.
Ms. Mohan?
Yes.
Ms. Corrado?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Tabbitt?
Yes.
And Mr. Omalanik?
Yes.
And we're up to curriculum. We have a report from December 5th.
All right. Curriculum met on December 5th, and talked about the universal literacy screeners. The presentation for the screeners was conducted on December 3rd for the kindergarten through third grade parents, and it's posted on the district website. Literacy screeners screenings are not new to the district. The state has expanded the screening requirements to grades 2 and 3. Screenings, they're a snapshot in time. They're not a diagnosis necessarily of a problem, but rather they are one tool to help identify students who might need additional support. There was discussion amongst the committee regarding the different screenings used for kindergarten and first grade versus those in grades 2 and 3. There are 2 rounds of screenings per year. The fall screenings are due by 10/31 and the spring screenings by 2/14, Halloween and Valentine's Day, respectively. Talked about marking period 1 grade review. That's one of our discussion items. The focus of the discussion was mainly on struggling students. In a given full year course, students need to pass 2 marking periods during at least one during the year, and at least one of those marking periods has to occur during the second semester in order to earn credit. The idea is to keep the student motivated throughout the year, meaning if they pass both those marking periods in their first half of the year, during the second they might lose interest and focus. Students with D's and E's for courses, they were up a little bit, which could have been due to some COVID era support sunsetting. However, the numbers are still low and they are comparable with the pre-COVID numbers. There is continual tracking of struggling students and monitoring of additional support they may be utilizing, such as going to Extra Help or utilizing tutor.com. Scheduling update, scheduling change analysis. Ms. Fox discussed preparations for the 26 to 27 year scheduling, looking at data from 25 to 26. Ms. Fox explained the process for scheduling changes by students. There is an October 10th deadline to drop a course without a withdrawal on a student's transcript. Leveling down in a course does not incur a withdrawal. Both enrollment and staffing affect flexibility for scheduling changes. Feedback from the administration is that there were fewer requests for changes from students in response to district messaging on less scheduling flexibility. There is especially tight class availability in science and the arts, and there was discussion around the timing, availability, and appropriateness of scheduling changes, especially dropping courses. Currently, enrollment for Ridge and WAMS is holding relatively steady. There's an update on Schoolytics. Schoolytics is a customizable platform that utilizes data analysis for different purposes and audiences. MTSS, which is a multi-tiered system of supports, is one of the functions Schoolytics can help with. The district is building a system to put all INRS, its intervention and referral service plans, into Schoolytics, eventually to be exported to Genesis and available to parents. What's good about Schoolytics, it's a 100% customizable platform, which also makes the build-out time-consuming. Schoolytics can be used to analyzing various levels of data. Mr. Colmer demoed some data analysis of NJSLA results, and these analyses can be on the district or an individual student level, incorporating grades, attendance, etc. Now, utilization of this sort of data has shown tangible improvements, an example of which is improvement in Liberty Corner test scores over the past 2 years by taking actions informed by data analysis. Now, in essence, the platform marries data analysis and MTSS planning. All data and commentary can live on this platform, and individual teachers can only see data for their own students. In light of previous data breaches, there was discussion around the system's security. Mr. Beavers he did conduct a discuss cybersecurity with the full board. Did that today. Social studies updates. Mock election grades. Grades 7, 11, and 12, seniors being optional, participated in a New Jersey mock election. Grades 7 and 11 are grades when the civics courses are taught. The mock election experience was in class for grades 7 and 11. Grades 12 conducted it in the library at Ridge. It was held on election day with the gubernatorial and assembly candidates on the ballots, as well as a ballot question on gerrymandering. Feedback is that it was a fun and informative project. And preparations are underway for the 250th anniversary celebration. Mr. Terry and Ms. Fox are working with the Township Committee to develop different offerings, resources, and projects marking the 250th anniversary of the United States. An example is Farmstead Arts is making historical panels to display at Ridge, incorporating local and national history themes. There is a possible 11th grade field trip to the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia, and there will be more on this to come as the planning proceeds. And let's see. And that's it.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Keith? Okay. We're up to wellness. There is a report from November 20th.
Yes, the committee met on November 20th. There were 3 main items of discussion. The first was the Panorama Student Survey results. Assistant Superintendent Kristen Fox shared the preliminary results of the Panorama Student Surveys that were administered this fall. Data was presented for each of the 6 district schools over the course of 3 administrations of the survey in fall 2024, spring 2025, and fall 2025. The administrative team is currently working on sorting the data by cohort. The committee will discuss the survey results in greater detail over the next several Wellness Committee meetings. The second item for discussion was district support for immigrant families. Kathy Stotler, Supervisor of World Languages, presented an overview of the programs and services that are available to help immigrant families in our schools. There are currently 109 multi-language learners registered in Bernards Township schools. 171 students have successfully exited the program. Families who register in the district are asked to complete a 4-question home language survey, which helps determine which informational, educational, and social programs and services the district provides that might benefit families as they transition to becoming members of our school community. School counselors are aware of the challenging situations faced by many immigrant families and the impact this can have on students. Ridge and William Annan offer dedicated support groups for these students, and teachers throughout the district communicate between schools to ensure that all family members are provided the resources and services that they need. Ms. Stobler also reviewed for committee members the academic support programs available for students. These include sheltered English instruction classes, a dedicated aide or interpreter assigned to each family for the duration of their time in the school district, and federally funded tutoring in all subjects. The district uses a variety of methods to communicate with families in their preferred language. Teachers receive specific training in the use of these methods at the beginning of each school year. Among these programs are Talking Points, which provides text messages and weekly SOS Express emails in 180 different languages for as many as 500 families, and Thrill Share, a text and email messaging service which communicates important district information in the language indicated in each family's Genesis portal. The district also provides students new to the district with Pocket Talks translators, which are two-sided iPads with native language and English language capabilities, so that students can immediately converse with teachers and peers on their first day in school. New families are invited to a welcome night event during the first weeks in September, where they have the opportunity to meet one another and exchange contact information. Ms. Stobler and her department staff explain the resources available in the district, including the help provided through each school's PTO. 3 times throughout the year, Ms. Stobler convenes a multi-language learning parent advisory committee to share information, updates, and to hear suggestions from parents. An end-of-school year celebration is held in the William Annan School cafeteria, where students read their autobiographies to the group and families enjoy a barbecue meal with all the trimmings. These in-person and online communication efforts seem to be encouraging more families to attend school conferences and events. The district offers interpreters in all languages to support families at other student-centered meetings. Future presentations for these parents will focus on an overall introduction to the Bernard Township School District system and a customized presentation on the college application process. The last item that the committee discussed was a meeting with Liberty Corner School student representatives. The students shared what they liked best about school, including their teachers and friends, the colorful Liberty Corner School environment and friendly culture, and the opportunities for students to engage in assemblies, orchestra and band, student council, and fundraisers for the community. Students shared their wish list of projects for the upcoming year. They would like to brainstorm a way to alleviate long lunch lines in the cafeteria, to create an outdoor garden, to have more opportunities for buddy meetings for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders, and to look into a buddy bench for students to use during recess. Student council goals for the year include creating a way for students to communicate their suggestions for school improvement and developing a Google presentation for incoming student council representatives, which outline their roles and responsibilities. Students spoke a lot about their preparation for middle school. Questions were asked about the difference in grading between 5th grade and middle school. Students feel that they are becoming more independent as learners in preparation for 6th grade, and they had questions about the location and use of student lockers, and agreed that purchasing an inexpensive lock to practice combinations over the summer would be helpful. They feel that platooning in the 5th grade is good preparation for changing classes at William Annan, but worry about navigating a much larger building. Several students shared that they've heard positive feedback about Camp Jumpstart, and they're looking forward to registering. William Annan School Principal Ms. Hudak offered to work with Liberty Corner School Principal Dr. Oliver to schedule a return visit to answer questions from 5th grade students. The next Wellness Committee meeting was held on Thursday, December 18th, and that will be updated in January.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Janice? Okay, we're up to you. Your last one.
It is my last one. The team met on November 20th. We reviewed the work orders. No issues were noted by the committee. I'm going to step off script just for a second as my last one. I do want to thank Mr. Rollo and Mr. Mickley for all the work that they've done with the work order and the maintenance. I think it's been a tremendous improvement, and the ownership and kind of treating the property as our own property is really being noted, and I think a great thanks goes out to Mr. Rollo, Mr. Mickley, Mr. Markarian, of course, but just want to say thank you for that over the last 3 years. We met with Mr. Mancino, noted improvements to the town fields used by the school teams, including a releveling of the baseball and softball fields at War Memorial, the improved field at Pleasant Valley. No issues were noted by Mr. Mancino. We reviewed the bus company performance, no issues noted, and again here, Mr. Markarian and Mr. Rollo, a tremendous improvement over the prior couple of years with our prior bus company, so thank you for the work on that. Reviewed the cafeteria services, Mr. Maschio, as Mr. Shaw pointed out before also. Some issues noted, but they are very open to change. They've implemented 13 menu item changes already. They've done student surveys and meetings. We heard from the student council before. There are follow-up meetings, so looking forward to continued improvement there. Talked about Stop the Soot grant, monitoring the state developments for that right now, but nothing to pursue currently. We talked about the varsity field complex, scheduled next steps. The goal is for school sports not to be disrupted in the spring. Games will be scheduled accordingly. The only thing to note was parking for juniors has been affected. This is the kind of the unofficial parking off school grounds, I think, or some on school grounds. And then the last thing was the Oak Street lot is going to be a summer 2026 project. And the next meeting will be in January.
Anyone have any questions for Nimish? Okay. With that, we are up to liaison and committee reports. I don't want to skip over that. Is there anything from Municipal Alliance? SC
Got some nice Christmas baskets at the last meeting.
CPAC?
The Twilight 5K is coming up, but that's still a ways away.
Okay.
CPAC is meeting in January.
Anything else? Any other? Okay, now we are up to public comment on non-agenda items. Okay, with that, we will move to the board forum. So each year, the board does a self-evaluation, and...
I think there's one person who wants to speak.
Oh, there is. Okay, I'm sorry.
My name is Enya Wong. I live at 44 Hinsum Road, and I am a senior here at Ridge by my lanyard. And I'm also one of the co-editor-in-chiefs of the Ridge Devil's Advocate, our student newspaper. And today I just wanted to come here in person to bring a suggestion to the board about something that I actually already emailed Mr. Markarian and Mr. Beavers about, but I just wanted to come here in person to give this in a more direct manner. And this is actually something that Ms. Corrado mentioned about that the district has begun sending official messages from the district to students in their home language. So for example, I noticed that recently when there was a snow-related delayed opening, I received that message from the district in Chinese, like I received it in Mandarin Chinese. And I've heard from students that I've interviewed at the newspaper that students have received it in languages such as Hindi, Urdu, Turkish, Korean, and many other languages. And I just wanted to suggest to the board to review this change and perhaps reconsider it, to be very honest. Because while I'm touched by the district's recognizable care in providing for immigrant families who perhaps are better accustomed to this language than other languages, I want to say that there might be a slight misunderstanding here because many of the students that I interviewed, including myself, had trouble understanding those languages and those messages. So for example, to touch on my own experience, even though I do consider Mandarin Chinese to be my home language, as my parents are from China and immigrated here to the US more than 20 years ago, and we speak it at home, I would not consider it my native language. I was born in the US and raised here, so therefore I've never received structured instruction on Mandarin Chinese, and I am honestly not very good at reading it. And honestly, I could not understand from the message that the district sent that there was a delayed opening. And many of my classmates also expressed this discomfort in their home language, that many of them could not simply understand the district's message at all, that there was a snow-related delayed opening, could not understand that message at all due to this, because quite a few of us in like the immigrant community, I guess, we do consider ourselves immigrants, but the thing is, a lot of us were either born here or were raised here for a long period of time, so therefore our ability or capability in our home language is honestly dubious at best. So we just wanted to reflect to the district this suggestion that perhaps reverting, maybe not necessarily reverting completely back to English, as we do recognize that some families may benefit from messages in their home language, but we want the board to perhaps reconsider this change a bit and allow for more student input on what language they'd like to receive this message in, as we do think it's a problem that if the students receive messages, especially about like emergencies such as delayed openings in a language they don't really understand. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Okay, I will close public comment again.
Thanks. So great question there. So yes, Mr. Beavers and I did correspond with the student regarding this issue, and I think what it comes down to is the transition from one instant messaging system to another one, and the way that it's connected to Genesis, the student information system. So the contact phone numbers and language preference is taken out of the student information system, which includes a field called home language. And when families register and the parents report the home language, that gets recorded in the student information system. That's what the ThrillShare Aptogee communication app is connected to. So what we've been trying to communicate to anyone who wants to change that setting is that they need to communicate with Chrissy Voorhees, who is the designee for emergency messaging, and she will go in and change that setting. What we're also trying to figure out is if we can separate student phone numbers from parent phone numbers, so that parents and students could theoretically have different language choices to receive the messages in. So I'm hearing Kristen say that we can, but it's not set up yet. We haven't communicated how to do that yet. We haven't been doing it yet. So I know we've been trying to coordinate between Genesis and ThrillShare and get those issues worked out since we switched to this new communication system. So as that becomes available and we can communicate how to do that, we'll certainly do that so that all the students and parents can make those language selections and receive the messages in the language that they prefer.
Can I ask a question? Does the system have the capability, like, realize a voicemail would get a little wordy, but a lot of this is text messages. Could it send a message out in 2 languages if there's different family members with different comfort levels with the
So I think the intent is to let each person that's receiving a message get it in the language that they prefer, not that one phone number gets the message in 2 languages. We can ask that question. I actually asked that question originally, like maybe just send everything out in English plus whatever the home language is, but it's not set up that way. It's kind of a one-to-one. As far as the length of the messages go, you might have seen in some cases that the text message itself is limited to, I think, 150 characters or something like that, and then it goes to a link. So the beginning of if it's a longer text message, the beginning of the text message kind of gives you the flavor, then you have to click the link to see the remaining text. So, yeah, we're having some growing pains, but we'll get there.
And if a voicemail is too long, it goes to delete.
Yeah, right.
So what you just said kind of answered my question. I know that from a computer science perspective, that this is kind of a nightmare of an idea to implement what I'm going to suggest. But I know that, I really apologize if this is like a really like presumptuous suggestion, but I know that some websites have options where you can like translate on the spot from English to Korean or Chinese. And I was like about to suggest that, but as Mr. Marcari just mentioned, right, we're already working with the software department on this, and there are like barriers to like what level of like software nightmare we can allow through like a platform like Gmail. So I think that would be like an ideal solution, but again, there are limitations to it.
Okay, now we will hit board forum. So each year, the board does a self-evaluation. And about a year ago, we had a discussion and we talked about the timing of the board self-evaluation. And we decided it made more sense, rather than doing it during the summer, to do the board evaluation in the late fall, so that at the start of the new year, after reorg, we would set goals that we would have for the full year. So we just recently completed and compiled our self-evaluation. And I will read the goals that we had set for you so you know when we're talking about them. So we had set 3 goals. The first was to work with the administration to facilitate an updated strategic plan. The second was to engage in professional development on the subject of board governance, the chain of command, communications, the role of the board, and board policies and procedures. And the third was to collaborate with the administration to approve multi-year financial plans addressing enrollment trends, facilities, and staffing needs. So we keep all of those goals in mind as we go through the self-evaluation, and we are asked to both rank and make comments on seven areas, and they are vision and mission, policy, accountability for student achievement, resource management and oversight, governance and team relations and accountabilities, and community leadership. And then the last section is on individual members' contributions. And I'm going to open it up to discussion. So, I was very pleased to see the feedback that we all kind of were on the same page about how we did this year. And one thing we can keep in mind is goals are not necessarily goals for just 1 year. And when we decide upon our goals going forward, we may want to look at some of the ones that we had and maybe tweak some of the wording just a little bit, because a lot of these goals apply to the direction that we're going to be going in the new year. But I want to open it up to all of you for your feedback and your comments. And I know it's the last meeting of the year, and you probably want to get out of here, but I really would appreciate if we could get some feedback. Brett?
Just really simply, after reading the whole evaluation, I was kind of pleased that, yes, you're right, we're all on the same page. I also found some comfort in knowing that where we think needs some areas of improvement, like we're all on the same page of that as well. So I think it's going to be a nice, cohesive way moving forward because we're in a lot of agreement on a lot of the basic items. And even though it's not bad, it's nice to know that we're moving together as a whole and not very fragmented.
And there's always room for improvement, which, you know, not that I think you can never give yourself the highest score, but I think that there's always room for some improvement, so you always do want to leave a little bit for the next year. Anyone else?
Could I just give a quick thank you to the board, especially for the new turf plan? So I have friends who are student athletes, and if you have kids in high school, they may like complain a little bit about having to park different while construction is going on. But at the end of the day, those are a lot of temporary complaints. In the long term, like student athletes have told me how grateful they are for the turf plan. And I know that we have had meetings where like we had to readjust some of them. I'm not into like the whole details of everything that happened in terms of board discussions, but a lot of student athletes are grateful because, you know, if it wasn't renovated, it causes sports injuries. It's dangerous when teams come over to play in our school field. So I just wanted to give a huge thank you for approving as well as adjusting that turf plan to community as well as student athlete needs.
Thanks, MJ. And that goes right to one of our goals, which was, you know, to address facilities. And that was a long time. We've been talking for years and years and years. So that was a long time coming.
I mean, I agree that I was happy to see in the evaluation that a lot of people kind of coalesced on some of the things that we need to work on and some of the things that are going well. And I agree with what you said, Jen, about maybe tweaking the goals because they're all important ones. The strategic plan, we did engage in the developing the strategic plan, but now we need to make sure that we're staying updated on how it's going and all the action items and stuff like that. So maybe we could tweak that one, you know, to continue, and the other two also.
I wanted to agree with Robin and you, Jen, that I think our goals were very broad this year, and they do tend to lend themselves to multi-year work, and I would like us to continue to focus on those three goals.
Anyone else have any other feedback? Yeah. So, you know, we don't have to vote on these until the second, is it the second meeting? So maybe it would be a good idea if you have some thoughts on how we could tweak these, email them to Nick, and then at our January reorg meeting we can circle back. Does that sound good?
So we're thinking of keeping the second two and maybe just tweaking the first into implementation of the strategic plan as opposed to developing a strategic
Correct. Okay. We have one last item, and that is for Nimish. We want to thank you. It is a volunteer position. There is no car or phone or paycheck. It is a voluntear position. And so thank you for your willingness to serve our community for the past 3 years. This is for you. I'm going to pass it down. And does anyone else have anything they'd like to say?
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to serve with you for the last 3 years. I think you're consistent looking at data and asking tough questions has really been to the benefit of the district. We can see, you know, your contributions to facility and ops. I've learned a lot from working with you. I think you have a critical mindset, and I mean that in the best possible way. A critical thinker, look at things in a critical fashion. I think that's vital to a board of education. We can't just be a board of yes people. We have to be a board of people who ask, who push, who dig, and that makes the administration better too. So thank you, and I think you did a great job up here. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Yeah, I want to thank you also. Just to repeat what Jen said, this is a volunteer position. Nobody understands how much time and effort goes into this, so thank you for that. And just to give a quick story about Nimish, it was a few executive sessions ago where I gave my opinion on a certain item and we voted on it and everyone disagreed with me. Afterwards, Nimish came up to me, walked up to me and said, Dave, can you explain to me why you feel this way? I just want to understand why that is. And that goes to who Nimish is. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
I just want to say, Nimish, good luck. We'll miss you on the board. I've only known you for a year working, but it's been great. And we've got to know each other on the facilities meetings, and you've done a really nice job. So I wish you good luck, and I know you're going to do well. Thank you.
Brett?
Yeah, of course. There's not much more to say to that except thank you. I don't think you realize until you're sitting up here and you run for the board and you serve on it just what a commitment it is, like to Dave's point. It's a lot of time that is for free, and whenever someone does that, you have to respect that, and thank you. You always brought a unique perspective to everything you did and opened, I think, some people's eyes to some certain ways of looking at things. But again, it goes back to the commitment that you've made, so thank you for that.
Thank you to everybody for your kind words. I was debating whether or not to say a few final parting shots, but I will. So just to say thank you. 3 years ago, Basking Ridge voters gave me this privilege of being on this board, and it has been just an immense learning opportunity for me. I am so grateful for that chance, and it really has been a huge, huge eye-opening experience for me that I will not forget. I want to thank Mr. Markarian, his team. They've always been very open for all the questions I ask, always have a good answer and are always willing to listen. And I have had a lot of questions over the last 3 years, and they have entertained each one of them, so thank you. I want to thank all the teachers, advisors, and coaches. They are the ones who make this district as good as it is, and my intent is only has been and only continue to will be to make this district better. I still have kids in this district for a few more years, but even after that, I do want to see this school district continue to excel. I want to thank my family. This was a team effort at home. They have put up with a lot, and I needed their buy-in initially 3 years ago when I started this, and I do want to thank them for living up to their part of the bargain for the last 3 years. Lastly, I want to encourage more people from our town to sit on the board. I think the board can be very accommodating even if you have a full-time job. Again, Mr. Markarian and the other board members are very accommodating. I will tell you, you will learn a lot, and it will be very rewarding. It may be one of the best experiences I've had in the last few decades. So nothing but regrets, anything but regrets on serving on the board. And again, just thank you to everybody.
Thank you. And with that, I'd like to wish everybody a wonderful winter break, and we will see you back in the new year. Happy holidays. And can I get a motion to go out? Smriti and Dave.